Hello students, welcome to the Student Support Program for Grade 9. Today we are going to talk about the National Certificate of Education, the NCE, for mathematics. This is the first part of the program on NCE mathematics. The NCE assessment in mathematics is in line with the National Curriculum Framework for grades 7, 8, and 9, and with the general philosophy underpinning the 9-year continuous basic education. The assessment is based on the learning outcomes stated in the NCF grades 7, 8, and 9, and the mathematics teaching and learning syllabus for grades 7 to 9, which is available on the MIE website. The mathematics curriculum is spiral in nature. This means that whatever you have learned, let us say in grade 7, you will have to use it in grade 8 and in grade 9. One simple example will be integers. You start learning integers, negative numbers, in grade 7, and this is something that you're going to use in grade 8 and in grade 9. In fact, this is something that you will continue to use throughout your life. You have the same content strengths, which are developed and expanded from grade 7 to grade 9. The aims of the NCE assessment in mathematics are to evaluate learners' knowledge, conceptual understanding, problem-solving skills, and sense-making in the following strands: numbers, geometry, measures, algebra, statistics, and probability. Secondly, to evaluate learners' ability to apply their mathematical knowledge and skills acquired in various contexts. Thirdly, to evaluate learners' ability to reason logically and communicate their mathematical understanding effectively. You also have the ability to make meaningful connections between mathematical concepts, to evaluate learners' mastery attained in mathematics in order to pursue further studies, and finally, the last aim of the NCE assessment in mathematics is to evaluate learners' attainment in mathematics at the end of the 9-year continuous basic education program. The purpose of the assessment is to assess learners' achievement in mathematics in terms of the mathematical knowledge and skills they have acquired by the end of the NYCBE cycle. We have 3 assessment objectives in the NCE mathematics paper. They are knowing, applying, and reasoning. The assessment objective knowing is about 55% in the paper. But different things that students will have to know are, firstly, to recall and use specific facts, concepts, rules, and formulae, to classify numbers, expressions, and shapes by common properties, to read and interpret simple statements or information, to perform simple mathematical operations and routine procedures in varied contexts, to retrieve information from graphs, tables, texts, or other sources, to use measuring instruments and choose appropriate units of measure, and to solve simple word problems. So as I have said, knowing, the objective knowing is about 55% of the paper. Some examples of what we mean by knowing are given. For example, evaluate 20% of 120. So this is an example of the assessment knowing. Second example, what is the name given to the polygon shown below? So we want to assess the knowledge of the students to know which shape this is. Third one, you're given a matrix and students need to know the order of the matrix P. The next assessment objective is applying. Here, we want students to be able to interpret, use, and display data in tables or graphs, to form expressions, equations, inequalities, to model problem situations, to draw geometric figures or diagrams that model problem situations, and to apply concepts, rules, and formulae, appropriate skills, procedures, and strategies to solve routine problems. The assessment applying is about 35% of the paper. One example is you have been given an isosceles triangle and you need to work out the size of angle P and the size of angle T. So here you need to apply your knowledge of what is an isosceles triangle. So an isosceles triangle has two sides which are equal and two angles which are equal. So applying this knowledge of isosceles triangle, the properties of isosceles triangle, will help you to work out this question. The third assessment objective is reasoning. So reasoning will account for 10%, approximately 10% in the paper. Here, candidates should be able to analyze and use relationships to solve problems. They should be able to make sense of multifaceted information, to develop appropriate strategies to solve non-routine problems in varied contexts, to demonstrate logical reasoning in solving routine and non-routine problems, to interpret information, make inferences, and explain their reasoning with clarity. And finally, to explain whether results make sense in the context of the problems. So, an example of reasoning: which one of the following is the largest? So here, the students will have to convert all the different fractions into decimals and then compare which one is the largest. A brief description of the paper. The NCE mathematics paper will be of 2 hours duration. Students will have to answer all the questions. There will be no choice given. You will have to answer all the questions. Very important, all necessary workings should be shown. All the workings that you're going to do, you will have to do it in the question paper itself. The total number of marks for the paper is 100. So the NCE mathematics paper will be over 100. Electronic calculators are not allowed. You're not allowed to use electronic calculators. The mathematics paper will be graded in terms of difficulty across the paper and within sub-questions. There will be different types of questions, such as objective type questions, for example, MCQs, fill in the blanks, true, false, matching, short answer questions, and structured long answer questions. I am now going to illustrate a few questions so that you have an idea of the type of questions. But all these questions have come either from the specimen paper which the MES has prepared or from the MIE grades 7 to 9 textbooks. All these questions come either from the specimen paper, the mathematics specimen paper, or the MIE grades 7 to 9 mathematics textbooks. So an example of a multiple choice question is given here. You have a second example of multiple choice questions. You can also have questions fill in the blanks, true or false questions. Here also, this has been taken from the grade 9 textbook. Matching questions. Or short answer questions. For example, here you're given a pie chart and you need to say which sport students like most. Here you need to find the average speed in kilometers per hour, given that Leah travels a distance of 147 kilometers in 3 hours. Short answer questions. Then you also have structured or long answer questions. So this is an example which has been taken from the specimen paper. You have been given a triangle, a right angle triangle. The first part, you need to expand x plus 2 into x plus 4. Then you need to use the first part and the given area of triangle to show that x squared plus 6x minus 40 equal to 0. The third part now, you have to solve this equation to find the values of x. So you can see that you have structured questions as well, what we call long questions, where you will have to use the previous parts to continue. So this was the first part on the NCE mathematics exams. Basically, what we have done today is look at the structure of the paper, the type of questions, the assessment objectives, and the type of questions which can come out. We have also mentioned that the paper is of 2 hours duration. You will have to show all your workings in the question paper, and calculators are not allowed. So until we meet again, it's goodbye from me.